election headquarters. This is Texoma Politics Now.
Hello, Texoma. Thank you for joining us. I'm Nicholas Kwolek. We are once again joined by NBC's political director and moderator of Meet the Press, Chuck Todd. Chuck, thanks for joining us.
Happy to do so, Nick.
Well, Chuck, let's get right to it. So many are watching just what will happen regarding Supreme Court Justice nominee Brett Kavanaugh. There are so many what-ifs, I don't have to tell you that, but just here's a few. The best outcome for all involved, the worst outcome, and if in fact Judge Kavanaugh's nomination is pulled, is this the biggest or perhaps the final blow to President Trump?
Boy, I don't know. Let me start with the best outcome is a feeling of closure on this issue for everybody involved, right? A feeling that we actually know what happened. Here's the thing, though. I don't know if we're ever going to get to a point where there's a feeling of consensus that we know what happened, we know where Judge Kavanaugh stands, or we know where Dr. Ford, the accuser, what happened and what didn't. So I don't think we're going to get that. I think the best we can hope for is, does everybody feel as if they got to say what they wanted to say, that they got to defend themselves, that it was a fair process? And even there, I don't know if in these partisan times that we live, that no matter which side feels like they have the upper hand, if the other side isn't going to feel as if the process was unfair. So my concern is that we're in a position where no matter what happens, some part of the country is going to feel like they were railroaded, one way or the other. And in a crass political sense, it probably means the side that wins in the Kavanaugh sense, whatever winning means for their side, will probably get punished at the ballot box in one way or the other.
And if they push him through, and it turns out that they investigate him being Judge Kavanaugh, could this be detrimental to President Trump?
You know, I actually don't think so. You know, Judge Kavanaugh wouldn't be the first Supreme Court nominee to not make it. Ronald Reagan, it took him 3 tries to get till they got Kennedy. People forget that, the infamous Bork hearings. Bork didn't make it. There was another nominee, Douglas Ginsburg, who was withdrawn because of an issue having to do with marijuana back in the day. And then we ended up with Anthony Kennedy. So it's not unusual. So I do think politically there are a lot of things the president's got to worry about. I think if he gets himself entangled in going after the accuser as much as he did today, he could find more political problems here. But I think ultimately the president has less on the line here right now, really, than Mitch McConnell and Senate Republicans.
Moving on to another topic, we have a debate tonight between Senator Cruz and Congressman Beto O'Rourke. It's a close race right now. Congressman O'Rourke has gained quite the momentum. At the same time, it was recently announced that Donald Trump Jr. will be campaigning for Senator Cruz here in Wichita Falls. What do you believe Senator Cruz and Congressman O'Rourke need to do to get themselves over the top? And what do you believe whoever loses will bring them down?
You know, it's interesting in this race in that it is a different style of swing voter that's at play in the Texas race than there really is in the rest of the Senate races. Ted Cruz's problem is with Trump voters, right? There is still a slice of Trump voters who are angry with Ted Cruz when Ted Cruz didn't endorse him at the Republican convention. There's a little bit of distrust there. That is why Ted Cruz really needs the president to come campaign for him. That's why you've seen Donald Trump Jr., which is always, he's the first person that gets brought in when a Republican needs help with the Trump brand. You bring in Jr. first, and then if that doesn't work, you bring in the big gun and the president. Ted Cruz has got a bigger problem, arguably, with the Trump base than he does with that middle-of-the-road voter. That middle-of-the-road voter, in many ways, may already be lost to Beto O'Rourke, but for Beto O'Rourke to win, he does need a tamped-down Trump turnout, right? So it's a different style of campaign swing voter, if you will, that each candidate is targeting compared to really any other Senate race that I'm watching.
And finally, Chuck, what can we expect this Sunday on Meet the Press?
Well, we got a lot. We got Judge Kavanaugh. We got the bombshell report out of the New York Times having to do with Rod Rosenstein. Will he still have a job by Sunday? And then I will be sitting down with the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo. You know, most of the world leaders around the world come to New York next week, UN General Assembly, so the President will be having North Korea and Iran in particular on his mind.
NBC's Chuck Todd. Thanks again, as always, Chuck. Good to see you.
Thanks, Dick.
And we remind you that Texoma Politics Now airs this Sunday morning at 7:30 right here on KFDX. We'll see you soon.